What's up? Good morning. How we doing? We are 4 minutes out here from close of big bar number 5, and we are into that time of day where for me the floodgates are wide open. I'm ready to rock. We got, a reasonable, 2 is effectively very close to a doji given the volatility environment here. Obviously, ATR is going to be artificially low here through the first 10 5-minute bars of the day. We've got bar 4, first bear body of the day, small bear body, lots of wicks going on. Large wick up top on bar 4. So for bar 5 to clear the wick high of bar 4, bar 5 is the bar that we're currently on, right? Bar 5 would need to be a sizable bull body, even just to barely clear it. Now, luckily we know that ATR is artificially low at a 41.64, bottom right of the chart on your screen. So I wouldn't be too worried about it here on 5. But I gotta tell you, I wish 4 was a cleaner bull body, though it's important to also remember that a lot of times that first move off the rip, how often do you see, I'm just going to trade the price action, but for conversation, purposes, how often do you see a move like this happen off the open and it just never stops and bull trends until the New York close? It certainly happens, but it's not the most common occurrence, right? So I'm keeping that in mind as well. We are well away from 30,000, couple hundred points away from 29,000. Which I don't mind. We already tested it here pre-market. And the bulls have decided to take us away. So if we could continue higher, up into maybe the mid-29s, I'd be thrilled. Get us away from those round numbers that tend to cause a decrease in volatility, which kills off some opportunity. JJ Rowe, News, Fishman, how we doing? How we doing? Mike, Cheryl, Josh, James, how are we? Come on in, man. We've got work to do. Minute 45 out. So there's that sizable bull body we just discussed. All right, range on this bar here. Sitting currently at about 75-ish points. It's not a small bar, that's all right. About 70 seconds out here. We'll see how this guy closes up. Wow, that's a big bar. Okay, at least in comparison. Bar number 5 is now the biggest bar of the day. Larger than bar 1. "30 seconds out, range on this is about mid-80s. 83, 84 points. So risk on that trade if it didn't grow at all anymore. We're looking at, I'd be putting out about 85 points. Well, you know what? ATR is 44. I know it's artificially low. 8 seconds. Let me just see if I can get a fill. Beautiful placement. Guy, you can't beat that placement. If I get a fill, then I'd like to participate here and see if we can grab something. There we go. There we go. I am sitting long. And of course, I've got the full bar 5 off the rip. I am sized appropriately here. And let's just see. The bulls want to take their time, take us a bit higher. I'm cool with that. Let's see what they got. Of course, you know, this is with the understanding that bar 5 is a sizable body, though, you know, if somebody called it outsized, I'd say, I see why you said that. But even with ATR artificially low, you know, we're not even talking more than, or what I should say is obviously more than double the ATR, even with the ATR being that artificially low number, mid-40s, at least on the previous close. Question, Nico, do you trade ES or just NQ? Doesn't matter to me. I like NQ because a lot of you guys like NQ, and the reason that a lot of people like NQ is because it's volatile. It's volatile. There is an argument to be made that given that volatility, when you compare commissions and fees to those of trading ES, NQ is a hair more efficient. ES, you know, for our generation, the OGs all traded ES or commodities. NQ is kind of a newer blood instrument, to be honest, but I love NQ. But if you just ripped NQ away and you're like, you all have to trade ES tomorrow, what do you think, we're not gonna make money? Come on now. But NQ is kind of the younger, the wild younger sibling of ES. We love it. All right, Bulls, step in, do your thing, man. Gonna need a whole lot more than that. I'm not interested in 10 points. All right, so 1 ATR here, currently 43, 44 points. 1R is 89. So, you know, as of right now, I gotta tell you, I'm leaning more toward the 1R side of things. Is that a big ask to make in the market? Yeah, it is. It is. I don't think it's so unreasonable, though. Who took the close of 3, by the way? If you took the close of 3, you're killing it. Question. What is your strategy, sir, if you don't mind me asking? Looks like you love following trends big time and hopping on the wagon, LOL. I trade RAM. RAM is the wrench action method. It's my trading methodology that I developed nameless for myself. Look at this. Look at this. Those bulls did take out the wick high, which means I gotta move my stop. There we go. All right, stop is moved, and we're in the driver's seat. So, trend following, I don't know. I identify context. The tier system of RAM to keep things incredibly simple, and not get into too much nuance here and take 3 hours of your time. I identify the context, and then I do my best to maintain that context identification throughout the day. And then I do logical things using logical risk management. And what I would say is also logical profit-taking strategies within the nuance and context of what I'm looking at. With the two big umbrella terms, are we looking at some form of range, some form of trend? Every market, like it or not, is going to be in some form of range or some form of trend. Whether it's a soft bull or bear channel, more of a range. Those can often turn into trends, though most of the time they won't, etc. Single bar sideways range is obviously under the range umbrella. Huge bear crash day, a lot of times is going to be under that trend umbrella. So, a lot of people think that, I'm just, he just buys the high a day or whatever. Could not be more wrong and shallow in that assumption. That is not correct. Though I am buying the high of day relatively often. But it's, am I buying the high of day or am I trading RAM that happens to be buying the high of day? The latter is the truth. Okay, so that initial risk on the trade, this is a nuanced situation, isn't it? That initial risk I had on 89 points. After a single bar, 5 minutes in the trade, I had to move my stop. A lot of you guys would say, you got to move your stop. I don't know. I see it as I had to move my stop under the wick low of bar 6. So we'll see if the bulls can hold the wick low of bar 6. And if they can, now I have some choices to make. I could, of course, go for my initial R, which was 89 plus points. ATR now is sitting at 44. I have the choice to do that as well. We'll see how this develops. Come on now, bulls. Let's hold that wick low of 6. We have a huge, after that stop move, reward to risk possibility here. Now, again, a lot of traders, they love to move their stop as soon as humanly possible. I don't love having to do that, to be honest with you. I'm sort of the opposite. A lot of you guys, you'll trail your stop to break even when you're 7 points in the money. I think it's silly. And then you wonder why your win rate sucks. And again, it's not all about win rate. Win rate means nothing without your average reward to risk also in the equation. If you had a 92% win rate, a lot of people would say, wow, that's really good. Okay, but what if you're trading 1 to 100 reward to risk? All of a sudden, it's not so fucking good anymore. So you can't have one without the other. One means absolutely nothing without the other. It's really crucial to understand that. If you don't understand that, you don't understand what business you're in. But got a clean close out of 6, so I had to move my stop below the wick low of 6. And now I've got a big opportunity here for a nice sizable reward to risk on that secondary risk. Of course, initial risk still stands because I had it on, right? Don't forget about that initial risk when you get to move your stop, or I should say, should have to move your stop. All right, bulls. Let's get up through 29.3. Hold that wick low of 6. All right, there's a new bar. Close up a big bar 7 into the open of bar 8. What is the number 138? That's my position size. Let me ask you guys a question, chat. Is it that unclear what's going on? Because when I look at that, I know exactly what's going on, but I'm also looking at this with 10 years of experience. Is it that unclear, or are you guys like very clear on what that number is next to the P&L? All right, good. Good. Come on, bulls! We gotta hold that wick low of 6. So the bulls so far have had me 43 points in the money. Before I move my stop, I'm not into that. So let's get these bulls holding the wick low of 6. That would be tremendous. If they do clip us, I don't feel like I lost too much other than time, but what are you gonna do? Testing my stop, testing that wick low of 6, see if they get me. Not yet, man. They're gonna have to earn it. Bears having a little bit of trouble taking out that wick low of 6. They're testing it hard. All right, we got 60 seconds here till the close up of bar 8. All right, I'll get flat. That's too bad. That could have been a monster trade. So I'll lose a little bit. Potential on that trade was 10x that. About 10x that. So I'll take it. All right, moving on to bar number 9 here. ATR sitting 43. We're getting to the point now where, by the way, ATR is no longer so artificially low. I'm trying to catch a monster here, man. I'm not looking for some huge reward to risk necessarily, but this price action was nice and clean up until just about now, bar 8. Now, I've seen this movie. I don't want that to happen. Let's not get a little single bar sideways range going. Okay, bulls trying to backfill bar number 8. That's not so unexpected. I mean, look, when you get a big bull push, a lot of times, before anything else happens, you will get a sideways range. Which, again, I don't like, but that is the truth. More often than not, you will, after a big push in either direction, get, before anything else, a sideways trading range. And it's important that you don't get a little, don't get so antsy, we'll say, in the sideways range. Because once we move away from this, typically you're going to get more opportunity. Now, ATR, I will say, though, the volatility, that average range, again, red number, 46.6, it's not huge. Certainly not. We're not even above 50. So we'll see what happens here on the rollover of 9. We're about 225 out here from the close of 9. All right. So we got 30 seconds here until bar 9 closes up, rolls over into 10. Still hanging out in this little range. Again, well, I don't want to say range because it's not really a range yet. The reason I keep saying that is because I've seen this happen a whole bunch of times. It's like you look at something, you're like, yeah, I've seen that before. A lot of times this will turn into a sideways range, so that's my number one concern right now. I don't want that to occur. That is worst case scenario, but it's also a highly probable scenario, so we'll see. Ideally, we just break one direction and go. I don't care which way we go. All right, here's bar 10, 455 out. All right, 10, take out the wick low at 10. I'm sorry, 9. And give me a nice clean bear close on 10. Now, would that be enough for me to start slapping it short? Well, let's see how it looks. Let's see how it looks. It would certainly be early, we'll say that. 3 minutes. Yeah, tube out, you're fucking right, something happens. Whenever this track comes on, something crazy's bound to happen, you know it. This one always comes on when we're sitting right in a big train and we're waiting for it to go. We could have used this one about 10 minutes ago. All right, now, big bar 10. If 10 wants to come down and close down here, can anyone tell me what we're dealing with? You got 8, 9, 10, right? 9 is a little larger of a bull body than I would prefer, but it's like, all right, we can work with 9 maybe, if 10 closes clean. But then, you're like, yeah, 20 EMA, right? Sure, it's there, it's bottom of the barrel relevance, but sure, let's consider that. You know what I'm really looking at here is that 50% retracement point on the day. From the open to the peak. When you get 50%, remind me, because I forgot, what tends to happen at the 50% retracement point? Anybody in the chat? 30 seconds out. Big Trev. Big Trev is the fucking man in the chat today. He knows what's going on. I'm looking for reasons, big dogs. Why does it tend to do that? I think Big Trev's the only one who went too bothered to type out sort of reasoning. Not complete reasoning, but sort of. What you tend to get at that 50% retracement point, for those of you guys who are a little bit newer or forgot, is from bar 1 to bar 6. You got to remember, guys, a lot of traders are absolute fucking degenerates. That's just the truth. Like, that's the reality. Okay, so you say, okay, well, if that's the truth, even some institutions are, like, they do some degenerate shit sometimes. Now, they have some sort of plan behind it, typically, but you get 1 through 6. What do shorts tend to do? They get short on 2. They average in on 3. They average in on 5. They average in on 7 or 6. And now they're on average over lots of positions, lots of different traders, lots of different algorithms. What's their average price on average? Somewhere between the 40 and 60% retracement point. Somewhere in here, right? And especially the human traders, the degenerates. Some of you are like, that's me, big dog. Hey, how you doing? When you get into this region, you tend to do what? You've been pacing around your office for the last 20 minutes. Like, motherfucker, if I could just take back all those averages in, I would never do it again. Just please get me out at break even. and I will have a good day. I'll walk away now. I just don't want to lose this much. You're 35 minutes into the day and you're already on your knees praying to you don't even know who anymore. When you get to 50% retracement, you get a lot of degenerate shorts closing at break even. And what does that introduce? Some of buying pressure. Now, it's not the Holy Grail. It's not the Holy Grail because this is all a balance. If you have massive short pressure, that it can just eat through that buying pressure, but you will get that a lot of times. And if the balance is in balance, that buying pressure can oftentimes be enough to slow things down to the downside, or at least cause some hesitation at the 50% retracement zone, if not a bounce. If not a bounce. So we've got big bar 11. Let's see, 2 minutes out. Question, how do you use ATR in trading? I use ATR to understand what's going on as far as volatility, to understand the range of a bar compared to the average range of a bar as of late. It helps me make better profit-taking decisions. Helps me understand what risk is reasonable and what isn't. I use ATR a lot. If you don't know what ATR is, ATR stands for average true range. It's easy. It's easy. All it is the average size of a bar, the average range of a bar, same thing, in points based on the last 10. All right, we've got bar 11 here, 15 seconds out, going to be closing up here and rolling over into 12. It's going to be a big old inside close out of 11. So the big trading range is coming true here. Question, should I always use a 10 ATR and not use the standard 14? Is 14 the standard? I don't really believe there is a standard. Use whatever you want. I use 10. As long as the ATR value that you're using, a lot of traders get this wrong with so many things. They think if I use a 20 EMA instead of a 50 EMA, I'll be profitable, right? It's like, no. Just keep it consistent. I'm not, again, the EMA for me is irrelevant. Take it away, I don't really give a shit. With ATR, if you want to use a 5 ATR, great. You want to use a 10 like I do, great. I just use a 10 because it's easy. You want to use the 14, fine. Keep it consistent. Your decision-making needs to be consistent. If that is inconsistent, I don't really know how you expect to make consistent revenue here. if your decision making is more random than it is built on a consistent methodology with consistent factors that you're plugging in to make those decisions, I think a lot of traders genuinely think that they're just going to show up, look at the market, and say, it feels like this should go lower. Let me just get short. It's lazy as fuck, dude. You're not going to make more money than me if that's what you think. You're not going to make more money than the dude who trades the same way that I do in a very serious manner with a repeatable methodology by showing up, being lazy as shit, and saying, it feels like it should go down. We're going to take profit. I don't know. We're going to manage risk. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Come on, dude. Really? Guess what, man? You want to make a lot of money, you might have to put in a couple hours a day here at the charts. This is not a 15-minute-a-day type thing, at least not to be an active day trader. Managing a net sell options portfolio, tremendous. Takes me about 6 minutes a day to do that. Easy. Once you know what you're doing, it does not take a long time. But guess what? It's also slower than this. I think a lot of traders, man, they got to figure out, do they want to do very well? I mean, look, guys, life is really expensive. So I think you really got to ask yourself, do you want to just get by? By the way, I'm not saying one answer is correct and one is wrong. I'm asking you a serious question. Do you just want to get by and work as little as possible? Or are you like, no, I'm willing to work, dude. Like, okay, but what if it's 6 hours a day? You're like, I don't really give a shit. I just want to make, if I can make $100,000 a month, I'd be thrilled with that. Okay, you got to pick one. You know, I mean, and for a lot of people, if you're like, well, I just want to work 15 minutes a day, I don't even know if you'll be able to get by because you'll have such little screen time compared to the dude who's putting in 8 hours of screen time a day that you're probably going to be fucked. This is a very competitive playing field, you guys. It's the greatest playing field on earth, and the opportunity is damn near endless. Do you want to try to capture it in a bottle, or do you want to look back and say, I probably could have worked 2 hours a day. That's not so bad, man. I don't know why I was so dead set on 22 minutes a day. Just fucking lazy. All right, so we got a bit of a sideways range action here. Chat, problem is people think they're going to get rich quick. You know, I don't know. What does that mean? You know, I think a lot of people, when I think get rich quick, I think of like lottery winners who probably don't have any business managing that amount of capital. And they're handed it overnight, which is fine. They participated in a thing that exists and they won. That's tremendous. Great for them. But I think that the stereotype, right? Not the rule, but that kind of personality type. You can, by the way, I'm not talking trading. I'm talking like trading and life, business, whatever it may be, sales. It doesn't matter, guys. You can get rich very fucking fast. Really quick. Really quick. I changed my life very fast. Months, dude. Like, once I figured it out, it was like, boom. Everything changed very quick. I genuinely think people around me, because I kept it quiet, because you shouldn't be telling people what you're doing here, because they don't, you know, what are they going to do? Teach you about something that you already spend 12 hours a day fucking obsessing about? No, so any opinion they have is not really relevant to you, but I do think you should keep it quiet. And I genuinely think some people around my now wife and I thought that we were like doing some weird shit. Because it was just absurd. I mean, overnight, everything changed. We went from being broke as fuck to all of a sudden it was like, holy shit. But that's not getting rich quick. It's just having a lot of, you know, leverage, I suppose. And then making, you know, a big change fast and increasing your income quickly. Getting rich quick to me is the traditional, like, I guess, like, pyramid scheme mentality or something goofy where it's like put in as little effort as possible and then you'll make a ton of money in 2 weeks. It's like, no, how it really works if you end up getting rich quick is you put in a shitload of work and then all of a sudden it clicks and you go from being broke as fuck to a tremendous monthly income for you within 2 to 3 months. And that happens for a lot of people. I'm not saying it's going to happen to you because I don't know you, but it certainly can. Jonathan, morning brother, just tuned in. Just want to say you've helped me shaped my mentality on a massive green streak. Been green 9 of the last 10 days I've traded. Thanks, brother, my man. Good work. Good work, good work. Tremendous. I will never not be thrilled to hear that another man is winning. By the way, you know, I think a lot of you guys, you should be very honest with yourself. I'm not calling you out in a negative way. I'm calling you out because I want you to win. If you just heard that and you got a little bit fucking angry inside, you should be angry with yourself, not him. But I really, you know, that's an issue. If you hear that and you're like, fuck that dude, he got lucky. Manuel, where's brother Manuel? He comes in here daily and he's like, another big payout. And I know, I can sense it. Some of the dudes in the chat, they're like, congrats, dude. Fuck you. It's like, come on, man. Like, there's enough to go around. Everybody can win. It's not a matter of that. Well, I suppose maybe not in the prop industry. But everybody here can win. It's a big mentality problem if you hate to see other men. I always love. If another man is winning, I fucking love it. I fucking love it. That's the goal. So we've got a big old sideways range here now, don't we? Yes, we do. Manuel, he's here. What's up, big dog? He says, LOL, that's exactly right. Just started clicking after 14 months. Hey, Manuel, everything that I said about 5 minutes ago, let me guess, kind of hit it on the nose with you as well? You work your fucking ass off for a year and all of a sudden it all kind of comes at once and then doesn't really stop coming. At least not in the big scheme of things. It's like, holy shit. And then everyone around you is like, oh my God, overnight success. Good for you, bro. Like, what are you doing though? Like, is it sustainable? Like, you're probably getting that kind of shit. It's gonna happen, guys. It's just the way it is. All right, big bar 14. Come on now, man. Well, Javaz, what's up, man? Did it give it up? Doesn't look like it, does it? Question, can you please specify what is your strategy, please? I trade RAM. Trade the wrench action method, RAM. It is simple but nuanced. JJ in chat here says, took me 3 years to learn this when my wife said there's no get rich quick. This isn't a get rich quick, but they don't see the time you spent. They only see one day he's making it. Well, man, I hope she said that in a positive way. Because I'll tell you what, you know, like anything in life worth doing, this is very hard and the rewards they can be tremendous. It's difficult, and that makes it highly worth it. Like everything else. If something, you know, people want trading to be easy, but use your head, man, a little bit, right? I mean, if trading were easy, then it wouldn't be worth it. And I don't mean that in the stereotypical, like, as per the saying goes. No, I mean that, like, logically speaking. If trading were easy, the rewards would be minuscule. Because so many people would have success, where are you getting the money? Where's it coming from? It's like in business, winner kind of takes all, don't they? At least a lot of it. So in trading, man, the top few percent, maybe top 1% takes home all the money. And I wouldn't want it any other way, dude. Because I'm telling you guys, every single one of you in here, even if your mindset's a little fucked up, like everything that I've been saying, you're like, yeah, I gotta fix that shit. Then fix it. You're good. Like, I think every single person here can be in that top 1%. Look, there's a lot of traders, you guys. And there's a lot of people who just, like, I wouldn't even necessarily call them traders. They're straight up gamblers. And they would openly admit to you that they're just kind of gambling. And that's okay. They're an adult. They're allowed to do that. Now, the truth is, a lot of you guys here won't make this work. You won't. Because you'll hear what I say, and you'll say, yeah, well, and then, you know, next week you'll hear someone winning, and you'll say, that motherfucker got lucky. And you'll keep gambling, and you'll keep being impatient, you'll keep being undisciplined or stubborn about sticking to any sort of, you know, logical trading plan, whatever that might be. And you'll be out of the industry in 6 months. That's the truth, and I fucking wish it wasn't, but it is. So don't be one of them. I've seen a whole bunch of cycles over the years, and everyone thinks that theirs is original. It's not. It all rhymes. All right, 215 out. We got big bar 15 here. Big sideways range. Bears, break us lower, man. Let's do it. Chat, friend of mine keeps telling me prop firms are a scam, etc. I wish I never told her what I was doing. She asked me how I'm doing at trading every time we talk. Yeah, she's not your friend. She's not your friend. Look, you guys, I'm sorry, okay? And this isn't this is just the reality. The ones who truly want you to win, grab them and hold them tight. Don't fucking let them go home. They live with you now. But, you know, a lot of you guys probably have about 100 friends. And, you know, probably about 85 of them, they wouldn't even admit it to themselves because it would make them feel like shit. Even internally, they would not admit it to themselves. But the truth is, they don't want you to win. Because if you win, they feel like shit. And they don't get any benefit from you winning, at least in their eyes. Now, in reality, they would benefit from you winning because you think of them as a friend. But internally, they're kind of rooting against you because when you win, they say, fuck, I still am losing. And the 10% of people around you who internally would fucking be so happy when you win, even if they didn't benefit, which they fucking will massively because you're friends, but even if they wouldn't benefit, they live with you now. Kidnap them. Keep them at your house. Hold them tight, big dog. But unfortunately, you know, it's the truth. And I'll tell you what, man, that energy, don't keep that shit around you. It's very real. You don't want that around you. All right, we got bar 16. You know, it's unfortunate because in the chat here, they said they ask them how they're doing at trading every time they talk. And, you know, maybe, I don't want to make assumptions. Maybe it's genuine, okay? However, a lot of the time, if you said, not so well, it's not going well, I'm really getting fucked up, it's not going well, they might feel a little happy internally. But they'll say, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's fucked up, dude. What is that? What does that do for you? What does that do for them? They're more interested in the drama and the gossip. I don't want to talk about people. in a dramatic way. You know, when people talk about other people in drama, it's in a negative way. If we're going to talk about people, I'd rather talk about things or ideas. Really, I'd rather talk about ideas. The things is like fucking whatever. People is last on my list. And if we're going to talk about people, it's going to be in a fucking positive way. I love it. I love it. Let's talk about ideas. Let's talk about people in a positive way. Let's talk about things briefly, but who cares, really? And people in a negative way, if you start talking to me that way, I'm going to fucking walk away or hang up on your ass. I don't give a fuck. I don't have time for this. It's not good for your energy, dude. It's not good for your soul. Fuck that shit. Get away from me. David, what's up, brother? How we doing? So we've got big 16 trying to head back into the range. That big sideways range from about bar, we'll say 9 through bar, 14 kind of developed. All right, 40 seconds out here. We got bar 16 rolling over into 17. All right, here's the rollover. New bar, 17 right in the sideways range. Tell you what, you could draw like this. That's that previous range. Right now, though, right? So, I'm starting to think, okay, let's see if I can make sense of a range scalp or 3. Got that wick high of 13. Yeah, I mean, the wick high of 15 is a little bit tough to use to manage risk. 14, a little bit suboptimal in my eyes. 13, great. 11, great. High a day, number 7, great. All a little far away, though, compared to that ATR of 46 and the potential downside reward for a soft bear channel limit order reversion scalp. But that's where my head's at right now. All right. Sometimes when there's big news, this is chat. Sometimes when there's big news or earnings scheduled, it feels like the market makers are holding down the action until the event happens. Your thoughts? Big earnings today? Yeah, so when you get big events in the market, usually that ends up happening in the afternoon more than anything. The morning is usually a little more normal, unless volatility is on, or what I should say is unless it's a low volatility day to begin with. And then it certainly has pull all day long. It can make the market range all day. Similar to like seeing a $30,000 test, or I should say a 30,000 test on NQ. Like that big S2 level, 25,000, remember? Same thing. Same thing. A lot of range action. So the more and more I look at this, the more and more I start thinking, yeah, range, soft bear channel. We'll see if it ends up heading a little bit higher and maybe turning more into this, by the way. This. That would break the soft bear channel and just head right back to a big sideways range. But last thing we should be doing right now is, looking for continuation trades until we get a little more development. Right now I'm thinking range. Yeah, but honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about like, oh, it's an earnings day, so it's going to be slow. Or, oh, we have news tomorrow morning, so the afternoon today is going to be really slow. Honestly, after years and years and years, I don't really think about it that much. I just read price action, and if price action is slow, I'm going to see it directly at the source. It's kind of like, well, I don't know what a good comparison would be, but going directly to the source here, because, you could have earnings if you head into a day, like you head into today and say, we have big events coming up. So it's going to be slow today. Well, what if it's not? What if it's a huge bull trend day with a 74 ATR? It's going to be in your head now, and you're probably going to miss a lot of opportunity. If it's going to be slow, if it ends up being slow, but you came in with an open mind, it'll just be what it is. It'll be slow. But if it's a huge trend, you'll probably make a whole bunch of money. But if you come in saying, X is happening later or tomorrow morning or etc., it's going to be slow. Now you're boxing yourself in to probably have a slow day regardless, because if it does break out into a big trend, you're going to have this weird thought like that shouldn't be happening. And now you're going to hold off on what would otherwise be good opportunities that you probably should take. Now, obviously, there's nuance. Like if it's a trend, if it's an early trade, that's different. That's reading price action. But based on scheduled events, I think a lot of times they just make people more hesitant than more money. Question, big dog. Is there any place in your strategy, RAM, where you can look at bar 2 or even 13 and trade off of those hammers, inverse hammers? Thanks. Well, I suppose you mean on 2 getting short and on 13 getting long. I mean, it's 50-50 what you're saying. I'd say you're probably saying getting short on 2. On 13, you'd probably be saying getting long, because that's the traditional thought process around that. The closest that you would see me do consistently, relatively consistently in RAM would be if there was here. If we had a big soft bear channel that looked a little bit wider than this. Okay, so there it is. And let's say, now imagine with me for a second, it was doing this. 2 to 3 bars on each leg. We came down, we came up, 2 to 3 bull bodies. But I'm like, it's kind of wide for me to just short that second or third bull body because the risk is too tight compared to the size of the bar, etc. If we then got a first bear body closing clean in a soft bear channel, I would put a stop limit sell a lot of times beneath that first bear body and just risk the bear body itself. Now, it's a continuation style trade, but it's really a range scalp. Okay, so while you might say, well, that isn't really a hammer candle at all, well, I say that to say that's kind of the closest that I'm going to get to what you said. Hammers, a lot of people like to look at hammer bars as reversal type bars. I don't see it that way. I've just seen this sequence way too many times. And the problem with this, while you might say, yeah, but the bulls are losing steam. Look, 1 to 2. They lost a shitload of steam. Look at how small 2 is in comparison to 1. Okay, that's not the issue. The issue is how you're going to manage risk. That's my issue. If you short this, what are you going to do? Risk the wick high? That's fine. I mean, you could, but you got to understand it's a low probability, really high reward to risk trade. You are going to lose most of those, which is okay if you make a lot when you do win. The problem is most traders won't do that. They'll take profit when they're like 12 points in the money. And that's still really low probability. So risk management is the hardest part of trading, especially around high or low of day, because it's just space up top. What are you going to do? Put an arbitrary stop out? I'm not a big fan of that. I much prefer to use price action stops. So hope that helps a little bit. All right, we got 18, heading right back up into the range. Now again, couple of options here. Soft bear channel or big sideways range from the wick high of 7 to the wick low of 15, 16. So if I did want to take a scalp here, on the soft bear channel, I could risk the wick high of 13. And that's a very tight trade, by the way. So that risk is like a half ATR. It's very small. But if we end up taking out the wick high of 13, it's no longer a soft bear channel, really. It's a big sideways range. So I can take that. It's small enough where I can make sense of it. And see if the bears take that back in. We also have a little bit of a single bar sideways trading range trying to form 15, 16, 17, 18. We got the roll over there from 18 to 19. Now, you could also risk the wick high of 11, the wick high of 7. This is a scalp, so I'm keeping it tight, which does lower probability, if you were confused. All right, I'll cut it. We're probably looking at a big sideways range, which I'm not happy about. I'm not happy about because that's going to kill volatility, man. Have we been above 50 on the ATR all day? Yeah, briefly. Low 50s. All right, hey, somebody make a phone call. I'll be right back. Give me 2 minutes. All right, we got big bar 20. Attempting to do something here. This would be the first bar if it can to close above the wick high of 7. New high of day here on bar 20. We'll see how this guy closes. Strong sequence though, 18, 19, 20, I will say. All right, we got 2 minutes here. I'm watching very carefully how bar 20 can close up. "45 seconds. Okay. All right, first bar to close above, that's okay. I really like that sequence of 18, 19, 20. Let's see how 20 closes up. Stop limit buy goes out. Place him. Could have been a better close, but I'm going to give that 25 seconds, see if it wants to give me a fill. And it will. Place that guy where it needs to go. All right, Bulls. Let's see what you got, big dogs. ATR 44. All right, bulls. Not too bad. Gonna need a hell of a lot more of a push. But I like the attitude. Remember earlier today we talked about, hey, if these bulls could take us up maybe a lot closer to those mid-29s, that would be tremendous. Well, we are attempting to be on the way here. Get away from 29,000, that round number, and head up toward, I suppose, our next boss, which is 30K again. And then we'll deal with that when we get to it. All right, ATR is sitting right around 45. We've been hanging out in the mid-40s on ATR like all day. That volatility just won't budge. That's okay. All right, bulls. About time, man. Let's get in the driver's seat. Let's go. Oh, we got a new bar. Bar 22. Now, 21 did close above that wick high of bar 20. It's a smaller, shrinking bull body, so if the bulls want to take out the wick high of 21 in 25 seconds since the open here of 22, I will have to move my stop. They got 3 seconds to do so. Now that'd be no fill, no trade, so I'm chilling. Stop is staying as is. ATR now down to 42 here. All right, now, bulls, let's saddle up. Come on, man. ATR is dipping. We're down to 42. We got to get moving. Well, we are sitting right around break even here. We may see bar 22 close up as a straight doji, which may dip ATR, hopefully not into the 30s on this rollover. We shall see. 20 seconds till we find out. All right, here's the rollover. Yep, 38 on the ATR. You see that? All right, we got bar 23. 22 is going to be an inside close. So I'm going to need to leave my stop as is. So let's get these bulls in the driver's seat, saddled up, get pushing. Not Brandon, this is the schedule now, big dog. Market open. All right, ATR now sitting at 40. So let's get a nice big push. You know, I gotta tell you guys, the whole day's range here is less than 250 points. That's kind of tight, isn't it? At least compared to what we've been used to a little bit more lately. Obviously, this week has been, market in general has been probably a little bit slower. Mario, what's up, brother? How we doing? We got a minute 50 left here on bar 23. All right, Bulls, let's go. Hey, man, if you haven't yet, I appreciate you pressing a button here on the live stream. The like button, big dog, the dislike button, hit a button. I appreciate you doing so. Helps out tremendously. And might just give these Bulls the confidence they need to put me about full ATR in the money. You never know, man. Won't know until you try it. Okay, so bar 23 is going to close up as a small bull body, but reasonable. So if the bulls take out the wick high of 23 within the first, I will say 20 seconds here. Well, honestly, more like 25 seconds. Then I'll have to move my stop up below the wick low of 23. That would be no fill, no trade. No stop movement. Stop remains as is. Slow bullish grind. ATR is now sitting 38, by the way, coming down here just a hair. Big Trev says, I said 20 to 25 seconds in my head. I'm starting to get this. My man, you see? You see, it becomes second nature at some point. It really does. Come on, bulls. I want to see bear tears, big dog. ATR 38. There you go, bulls. Keep that pushing. 39 now on the ATR. Jonathan, me too, my man. Damn close. Well, Bulls damn close. Gonna need one more run at that. Gonna need one more run at that. ATR 39 maybe creeping up to 40. Sitting at 39 right now. Minute 35 out. Ah, the hesitation. So close. All right, we got this bar 24. Roll it over into 25 here in 35 seconds. Question, what platform do you trade on? This is, what you're looking at is Ninja Trader. All right, we got a new bar here, 24 rolling over into 25. ATR now 36, by the way. ATR 37. Well, damn, Bulls! Come on now, man. Take it all day. We do not have time for this. Man, these Bulls, they're so close. So close. Man, at the time, they probably had at the closest so far on this trade, I think these bulls had me within less than a point of pulling it. It may have been a couple of ticks. But no cigar, not yet. Not yet. Just need one more push here. Out of these bulls, ATR currently sitting right around 38.39. You baby bulls. All right, let's keep that ATR up. Let's take another run at this thing. And you gotta love it. Now, we'll see how this turns out, but I gotta tell you, it's really easy. It's really easy to look at that and say, holy shit. Got within literally a couple of ticks of take profit, and they didn't take it. So next time, I'm going to take it a few ticks early. And then it's going to happen to you again a week from now or 3 weeks from now. Then you're going to say, man, got within a few points of my take profit, and I didn't take it. So I'm going to take it a few more points early. Where does it end, big dog? So you got to remember, it's going to happen to your stop side as well. You remember the miracle on Wall Street? You can't cherry pick, how you feel about certain situations. Is it a probable situation that it gets within 2 ticks of your take profit, turns around, stops you out? No, but even the less probable thing is it's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to you. That's right, we had a few miracles on Wall Street. And a whole bunch more to come, because I know for a fact, statistically, it's going to continue to happen. All right, we've got bar 25, rolling over into 26. Nothing for me to do as far as bar by bar management there on that close. By the way, guys, hey, Take Profit Trader daily payouts. Daily payouts, big dog. You press request, it gets approved, you press proceed, and it is in your bank account before you can even open the app. It's tremendous. It's incredible. And if you're needing to go full-time or at least part-time as a trader, you need money coming in, go ahead, Take Profit Trader. 40% off, no activation fee. You know I love Take Profit Trader. I love it. Code BIG, B-I-G, to get that 40% off, no activation fee. By the way, the activation fee when you pass is $130. You use code BIG, it's 0. And bar 26, one more push. ATR now sitting 38. At least we're maintaining a reasonable ATR. Now, if ATR starts to tank, then you got to deal with that. But ideally, we won't have to deal with that. All right, 227 out. About time to step back in here, Bulls. You were 2 ticks away from finishing the job here. But you know everything goes our way. Everything goes our way. So you know it's going to turn around and hit take profit. You know it's gonna. Chat, almost passed another Take Profit Trader account. Just need these bulls to step it up. Me too. Me too, my man. I could use these bulls stepping up right about now. We've got a new bar. Bar 27 here. And if I were sitting flat, I would not short that. I would wait on bar 27 here. Which means I gotta leave it as is. No bar by bar management. Coop, my man, how we doing? All right, ATR still sitting at 38. Bart Big Dog, what's up, brother? So if you're just joining me here, I'm sitting long from the close of bar 20. This bar right here. Bulls had me about 2 ticks away from take profit, faded. Stop in the same spot as, you know, well, since the entry really, right? The signal bar. So we're dealing with sort of an interesting situation here. 2 ticks. 2 ticks. But everything goes our way, so may take its time, but you know it's coming. ATR sitting 38. Question, do you think it's sometimes wise to cut a trade and re-enter? Depends what you're trading. If you're hyper scalping small cap momentum stocks, the answer is yes, if it doesn't do what you want very quickly. But for me, for trading NQ, my answer to that question is as follows. If you're going to cut it and then re-enter, let's say you're sitting long and you decide to cut it. The question I think you should ask yourself is, would you enter short at the time of cutting it? And if the answer is yes, then by all means, you're making a decision that you would make if you were flat regardless. It's a sell decision. You got to think of everything in terms of buy and sell decisions. Okay, forget about your P&L. You're sizing yourself properly where you don't need to think about it. But if you're sitting long and you're going to cut it and then look to re-enter, but you're making the cut decision during a period of time where you would make no decision if you were flat, then the decision has no edge or no positive expected value. And you're making the decision out of emotion because you don't like the red number or you don't like seeing a green number go away. That makes sense? So, by all means, guys, do what you want to do, but I've been around the block and I know a lot of traders. It's a psychological crutch. They like to do that because they hate seeing a green number go away or a red number get bigger or a winner turn into a loser. So then people start saying, you can never let a winner turn into a loser. Okay, well, what about when a loser turns into a winner? You love when that happens. And by the way, what does that mean? Never let a winner turn into a loser. The only way to avoid that is when you're taking the money, you take profit, which we all know it's not even going to cover commissions and fees, let alone leave a profit left over. So a lot of what people kind of, not you guys, but maybe some of you guys sometimes, but a lot of what people in general, usually newer traders, like chirp, like regurgitate, is stuff that makes them feel psychologically better. They heard it somewhere and they're like, oh, that solves this psychological issue, at least they think it does, that I'm having, until they realize that that decision-making process, like moving a stop loss to break even when you're 3 points in the money, while it makes you feel better in that particular trade, it's going to make you feel a hell of a lot worse because you're not going to make that work as a consistent revenue-generating stream. It just is going to kill NQ. It's too volatile to be doing that arbitrarily. I use price action-based stop adjustments because it keeps my decision-making consistent. Does that make sense? Again, hey, do whatever you want to do, man. I'm not your boss, but I'm not speaking out of my ass. I speak from experience. And something else to consider with that, by the way, cutting a trade just so you can re-enter at a better price, even though you wouldn't make a decision at all, a buy or sell decision if you were flat. So you're making a decision that has no expected value, no positive expected value, no statistical edge, and you're spending commissions and fees to make that decision. So it's a net negative decision. It's a net negative decision, right? Question, Nico, what was the reason for the stop loss under bar 20? Bar 20 was my signal bar. I've been sitting long since bar 20. Since the close of bar 20, I should say, the open of 21. Minute 15 out here until big bar 28 closes up, rolls over into 29. Okay, ATR sitting at 36, break even just about here on the trade. 28 rolling over into 29. Now, you know what's interesting here is you look at 27, 28. I actually do need to. I have to move my stop up above. I'm sorry, up right below the close of 28. 87, 75. There we go. By the way, reason for that is you basically got, if you zoom out, you basically got a big, soft bull channel. And the close of 28, the open of 29 did take out the wick high of 28, so I gotta move that stop. Stu says, do you adjust your profit target if the ATR gets smaller? Sure, yeah. Yep. Now, if the ATR starts just off a cliff tanking, then we're in a situation where, okay, this is one of those nuanced situations where I just got to do the best I can. But I would not say the ATR is tanking. And, you know, certainly in that scenario, discretionary decision making comes into play for sure, which gets better over time. ATR currently 34.35. baby. All right, we got ATR sitting 35. 27 points in the money. Let's see here. Now you guys notice how we've been in this trade a while. Well, I've been in this trade a while. Since the close of bar number 20, right? And this trade, it's matured. It's changed a little bit. The stop gets moved. The ATR adjusts. The look in general matures, meaning the context, though staying relatively similar. That should occur, but notice also all that happened bar by bar. You know? All right, we got a new bar, bar 30. 29 closing up, rolling over into 30. By the way, if you're just joining us, I've been sitting long since the close of big bar 20. Bulls took me within about 2 ticks of my non-negotiable take profit, which is a full ATR, and then pulled us all back. So we've been hanging out here in this trade for a little while. Take profit, I'm looking at 1 ATR. Come on, you bulls. Been a whole bunch of teasing. There you go. Let's keep that guy pushing. All right, bulls. It's been about 10 5-minute bars of teasing. ATR now sitting at 35. It's down a hair, but now maintaining here the mid-30s. So I don't mind that. That's fine by me. Now we just need a push, big dog. "15 seconds out, we'll get bar 30 rolling over into a new 5-minute bar, bar 31. We'll keep an eye on how ATR adjusts as this rolls over. 4 seconds. ATR down to 33-ish, I'll call it. Really 32. Testing that wick high bar 29. The hesitation. So ATR now sitting 34. Holy shit, man. I've been extremely close. 3 times now. You know, it's going to happen to you sometimes. These are the trades I think that separate traders into a couple of camps. Most go one way, where they would have pulled this thing a long time ago. And no matter how this guy turns out, that is not the correct decision. Unless you have a management rule that would have caused you to do so, in which case, have at it. You and I trade a little bit differently, which is normal. But I gotta tell you, holding this thing from bar 20 to now, is it the most fun thing in the world? I don't know. I'm having a good time. So maybe the answer is yes. ATR sitting 34, less than 2 minutes out here on bar 31. ATR now sitting at 34. New 5-minute bar 31, rolling over into 32. ATR down to 31 here on the ATR. That's okay. That's okay. Just don't want to see this guy dip too much more here. That ATR, that volatility, right? Question, how long do you usually hold your trades? I'm new here. As long as they take, okay? So, you know, you guys have seen me take scalp trades that took, what, maybe 10, 15 seconds? Genuinely that fast? And you guys have seen me take trades where I have to hold it for hours. And everywhere in between. Most of them, between like 5 and 15. Maybe 3 and 15. All right, we got ATR 32. Go on, Bulls! Damn close here, a fourth time. One more little push, Bulls. ATR 32. We'll see if it pops to 33. There we go. Pop it, Bulls. Minute 20 out here on bar 32. Go on, Bulls. Press it, press it, press it. We got that wick high at 29. New bar, 32 rolling over into 33. ATR down to, I'm going to call it 30, really 29.8. There we go. Now true 30 on the ATR. The hesitation bulls. Let them regroup. All right, so that volatility ATR sitting at 31 here now. Been ridiculously close on this trade. Think about what, 5 times now? Just a big teaser. Let's go, Bulls. One good push. Damn close here, Bulls. Oh my goodness. All right, we got a new bar 34. Bar 34 is the golden child. ATR now 28. I'm still looking for 30 here. Boom! Give me a fill! Boom! Flat! Goodness! Goodness! What did I say? What did I say? Everything goes our way. Big dogs. We pull into the grocery store. Shit, there's no spots. Boom! The front row spot opens up right as we pull up. They back out. We pull right in, head on in. It always goes our way. Believe it. Believe it. Be in complete alignment. It always goes your way. Bar 34. Even if it takes... What'd that take? 13 bars? Oh, man. Flat? Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. ATR now below 30, man. It's getting low. Man, if you haven't yet, I appreciate you hitting like here on YouTube. Helps out tremendously. Appreciate you doing so, big dog. Well, I think it's safe to say that we are now in just about a sideways range, huh? I'd say it's safe to say that now at this point. So let's take a look. Zoom out here just a hair. We could draw this, of course. You could also draw this. You certainly could draw this. We've got a sideways range that also looks like we may just be in a wedge. And wedges especially, they tend to break. You know, usually it's about 55%. They'll break the way of the flat, you know, and vice versa to the downside. The flat side will break 55-ish% of the time, and the angled side will break maybe about 45% of the time. Close enough to 50-50, but there is a little bit of a difference there. Oops, there we go. Man, are you guys having a good day? How we doing? How we doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. And I don't necessarily just mean P&L, my man. You're let me give you permission that I know some of you may need to hear. You're allowed to have a fucking tremendous day, even if you're red. I know it feels like, well, this is what I do. I came to work and I lost. I need to kind of spend the rest of my day, this is subconscious, of course, beating myself up. Don't do it. I'm telling you, it's a trap. It's a trap. It doesn't help you, and it doesn't hurt you to have a fucking great day, even if you were red. Because as long as you maintain positive expected value, as the sample size of trades goes up, The probability, therefore, well, really certainty, that you wind up with a predictable profit just gets higher and higher and higher as the sample size of trades with positive expected value, statistical edge, increases. News, that is correct. P&L is absolutely not a reflection of your self-worth. Not even close. It's not even a representation necessarily of you as a trader. It's a small sample size. If you took 3 trades today, if you took 7 trades today, you're like, fuck, I'm red. Yeah, okay, talk to me after 700. Okay, no one's arguing that casinos make a lot of money, right? Is the casino always green after 3 hands of blackjack, after 7 hands of blackjack? No, of course not. But they will be. And they know that. Which is why when you beat them, they look at you and say, hey, it was great to have you. Can we have you back next month? How about our best suite? What do you think? You guys come back next month? They love that you beat them. Because that means you're coming back. And they're going to get you all set up, and they'll get their fucking money. Don't you worry about that. Well, I'll tell you guys what, man. Hey, sideways range. I'm out of here, dude. I will see you tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Man, hit the dislike button. Press a couple of buttons. I appreciate you doing so. And I will see you back right here tomorrow morning. Market open. Have a tremendous day. All right, guys. See you soon.